To me, when you try to justify it, saying, "Well, Black Lives Matter," they threw a brick through a window. Our guys, they just picked up a brick.
Welcome to Pull the Pin Already, a place where average veterans come to share their opinions on the world we live in. We can't guarantee you're going to like our opinions,
but we promise we're going to enjoy giving them to you.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Mike. Let's pull the pin.
All righty, Mike. What are we pulling the pin on today?
I want to talk about these Christmas protesters out there who are destroying
Christmas?
Yeah. Oh, Xmas protesters out there who are destroying these churches, vandalizing these churches, and the media is not talking about them the same way they would talk about the Black Lives Matter movement.
Wow, you got a lot bundled up in there.
Oh yeah, just take out the Christmas part.
Yeah, well, I mean, even at that, the protests, media, what media are we talking about? I mean, like,
well, mainstream, MSN. I don't like social media. I think social media is more individual. It's not really group orientated unless you belong to certain groups on those social media platforms. But I'm just talking about like the mainstream media.
Right. So unless you're in a specific echo chamber, you kind of have to go get your media from somewhere, right?
Yeah. Let's just say national news. Like when something garners national attention, so that means what? You'll see it on most of the major outlets.
Right. So what are we talking about? We're talking about something that happened on what, December 12th, right? I think that was the date.
12th. I think it was it wasn't the 12th, it was the 11th, the day after the 11th.
The day after the 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So got it. Sure.
I had to shake you up a little bit.
Yeah. You definitely caught me off because I'm like, everything I saw was the 12th. So, yeah. So you're absolutely 100% correct. The day after the 11th.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was what was this rally for? Like, whose rally was it? Who started this rally? Who put in for this rally? Who started the rally?
It's a bunch of, I don't know the specifics behind that. Really, I don't.
Well, we go to the article I think you referenced, I think was from The Root. I think that's a local, Is that a local?
I don't know anything about The Root. I just know it's about one step above the onion.
Yeah. Well, it was definitely interesting reading. In fact, I got it pulled up because it says here that the title of the article was MAGA Marchers and Proud Boys Descend on DC, Setting Fires to Churches, Black Lives Matter signs, and getting into stabbing fights. That was the title. So first of all, just reading through it, I was a little, like you said, the Onion. I mean, this is clearly a biased newspaper. And I think if the title doesn't tell you right there, like who was at this rally? Can you tell me just from that, who was at this rally?
No, I can't tell you anyone that I know of that was at the rally.
Well, not personally. I mean, what groups are they implying was at this rally?
Proud Boys.
And MAGA marchers, right?
Yeah.
Which can coexist. They can be one and the same, right? Yeah. So who was stabbing who? Were the MAGA people stabbing Proud Boys?
No, from what I read in another article that I didn't post, it was some protesters to the protests.
Right. And I could probably tell you what people were inside those protests.
Take a wag at it, Jim.
I'm going to assume it's these guys that dress up and call themselves anti-fascists.
Oh, would that be anti-fascist? Antifa,
for guys who can't pronounce fascist, you just say Antifa. Right. So clearly the Proud Boys, these alleged Proud Boys and MAGA marchers, clearly stabbed somebody. So I don't see anywhere in that title about Antifa being there.
Right.
Clearly, they don't want you to see that. What they want you to do is associate MAGA marchers with Proud Boys, and obviously the words like descending, meaning, they came in to take over the Capitol, and then setting fires to churches. And they say that churches, Black Lives Matter signs, because anybody could read like setting fires to churches, stop there and go, oh my God. No,
they set fire to churches.
Right. No fires were set on churches. They were pulled the signs off. I mean, you can see the videos.
Yeah,
And then getting into stabbing fights. So clearly,
that's the part that stabbing fights,
sure.
getting into fights, which resulted in people being stabbed. Maybe.
You know, and I think if you read the article, I could read some stuff here, you know, just right off the bat that says roaming bands of white supremacists trolled the streets of Washington, D.C. on Saturday, setting fires to Black Lives Matter banners and getting into stabbing fights in what appeared to be free-for-all outpouring of racist rage. Now, if that is not the biggest opinion I've ever read, I don't know how you could take this stuff serious.
But I mean, it's just what's not an opinion when you're talking about an article, though.
Well, granted, but I mean, if you're reporting the news, if this is under the news,
Right.
if this lady here, Ishena, I don't know what I'm saying, Ishena Robinson, if she is a news reporter, not an opinion writer, then there's a distinct difference. Of course, if it's her opinion, which sounds to me there's got to be an opinion piece, but they're trying to put in facts with videos and things like that and photos, you know, so I think that's disingenuous to call people white supremacists. Maybe there are white supremacists in the Proud Boys. Maybe there are MAGA people that are white supremacists. Maybe there are.
Yeah.
But to come off the bat and just saying roaming bands of white supremacists, it just sounds all misleading to me. And
Well, how is that misleading, though?
well, because you seem to be labeling them all. I mean, and we talked about the labels. You know, we call liberals, you know, idiots, but we know all liberals aren't idiots.
I don't know the we part, but
yeah, me and the mouse in my pocket.
Yeah,
That we
yeah.
parlez-vous français? Oui.
But no, the reason why I say that is, you know, like when you look at the Black Lives Matter protesters, if someone goes out there and, you know, starts vandalizing property or whatever, the whole movement gets labeled as such. So it's
Agreed.
like, in this case, to me, you just got to take it.
But I do feel like, with the distinct difference to me, I do feel like, and I can only, like I said, I can only go off my opinion and how I saw
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
You know, initially, I have no problem with the whole Black Lives Matter protest. Even if I didn't agree with it, even if I thought that, you know, they weren't being oppressed and cops weren't shooting, you know, even if I didn't agree with that, they have the right to peacefully assemble. That's great. You're upset about something, draw attention. That's great. Go do what you do. The problem, like you said, is you had people come in, and we can clearly point out that some of them were thug Antifa, and some of them were, what did they call them? Opportunists.
Yeah.
That were just
Agitators,
breaking in.
opportunists,
Well,
yeah.
the looters. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
that's not a protest anymore. That's
Right.
looting.
Yeah.
So if you are protesting peacefully, you have the right. And I think the problem is, even right here, you can probably look at this, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat, you know, I don't agree with all their actions. I don't think that Black Lives Matter sign was their property to touch, period. So no matter who they are, whether they're MAGA supporters or whether they're Proud Boys or whether they're just some agitator in the thing, it wasn't theirs to touch. So
Right.
that activity is wrong. Okay, but I will not label the entire protest on that activity.
Yeah, but I say you should.
I shouldn't.
You know, you should.
I should.
Yeah, because like I said,
No,
Black
you're just
Lives
saying that to
Matter.
instigate. No,
Absolutely.
but not everybody did that, though. I'm saying, in all fairness, not everyone did that. I think a
No,
lot
I
of people.
listen. I mean, if we're gonna, you know, I like to make light of it, but if we're gonna be serious about it, then of course I agree with you. Not all of them are. Dare I say, well, not all of them are bad people. You know what I mean? The
Well,
good
there's good
people
people on both
on both
sides. Yeah, I
sides.
got you.
Yeah, but no, I'm not saying that the entire march, movement, or protest was being done by people who were out there stabbing and burning signs or whatever. But when you have a bunch of white guys, with maybe one or two white women in there, but
There was a black lady up front too. I see it. They highlighted
yeah,
her in
but
that picture.
yeah, but you know, she was
But
out
she was
there.
the MAGA marcher. She wasn't a
No,
Proud Boy,
she
right?
was part of the route, but
Oh, right. She was an undercover journalist. Got it.
yeah,
Wearing a MAGA hat
but,
so she wouldn't get hurt.
exactly. Got
Got
to
it. I
blend
get it.
in. Got to blend in. But when you have a march like that, not everyone is the opportunist, right? There could be a, like you said, peaceful assembly. no problem with it. But when someone does something, the entire movement gets labeled as such. So it's
Right.
like a tit for tat type thing. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think I watched the video, the really disturbing one about the couple that was chased down with the lady and the guy. I don't know if you saw that video, but these guys were acting like Antifa, and that's an embarrassment. I mean, to me,
Yeah.
anytime I see that, that is an embarrassment. I don't care what those people did.
Yeah. And
Your
to me,
behavior was animalistic right there.
because exactly, and I think you brought this up in one episode also where you talked about the Black Lives Matter leaders are not saying anything about the people who are the opportunists.
Right,
You know, they're not saying anything. So maybe give it another week or so, see if these guys, the Proud Boys or MAGA people, come out and say, hey, we weren't there. We didn't do that, or something like that.
right,
But still, they don't come out and speak against it.
right.
And what kind of message are you sending? You have to look at your group to me,
Yeah,
where you have a bunch of white guys and they're tearing down and burning a Black Lives Matter. You can't say all lives matter if you burn down a Black Lives Matter sign.
right. Well, you can't just do that if you're breaking the law. That's
Yeah,
against the
yeah. I
law,
mean, it's breaking
period.
the laws, damage to property and all of that. But it's just the message that's being sent to
Yeah,
me is just wrong, man.
right. So
And
if I
people
was
they need to be called out on it.
Right. If I was in the Proud Boys, instead of letting all these people go and talk about how what is this guy doing? What is this guy doing? These guys would be exposed. They would be.
Yeah,
They wouldn't be Proud Boys anymore because they're
right,
defying what we stand for. Not we as in I'm one, but we if I was the leader. You know.
right, exactly. And you have some
Right.
Black Lives Matter movement people, not necessarily the leaders. They go and they see people trying to break a glass, and they got them on video, like, "Hey, what are you doing? That's not what we're doing here."
Right.
So you do have that little portion of
But,
the
but
that.
those are small, right? I mean, there's
Yeah,
few.
yeah,
Even in that video
absolutely.
with the couple getting beat on there, even in that video, some guy tried to step in saying, "Leave him alone, leave him alone."
See,
Leave. But I don't know
yeah,
who he was affiliated with, and I don't even think they
right,
knew.
right,
They
right.
thought he
But
might have been with them trying to tell. So who
yeah, but he
knows?
could have been a MAGA person, and he could have been a Proud Boys person.
Right,
So it's
right.
but
And off
you know,
camera, he could have got beat too. So who knows? We don't know that because that's not on camera. And nobody's going to report
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to move into the dynamic of we already know that the media is just so biased and just ridiculous. But let's
I disagree, but okay.
come on, stop. You're funny already. Stop. But so the thing I really wanted to look at was they talk about the stabbings, but every article I read, they don't know anything about the stabbings.
Mm,
Like they literally, in one article, if I could find it, it says they were stabbed, and then it says right there, and although the affiliation of the victims wasn't known, like they literally say it in the article. So they're trying to insinuate that the Proud Boys and MAGA people stabbed 4 people and hurt a
yeah,
bunch of cops, but they have no information on the victims or who stabbed them
yeah.
whatsoever.
The
And
one
then
with the
they
cops thing, I was like,
and then
okay.
they bring up the fact that well they committed a crime by burning the signs.
Yeah,
So they're trying to conflate the two, like the stabbings was relevant to the signs, and so they broke the law on the signs. It must be them doing the stabbings. It's just so dishonest. And I did some research actually. I'm not going to bore you with screenshots, but it's easy to do. I went to look the Metropolitan Police Department, and I brought up all the arrests for that day, and it tells you their names. It tells you what they're arrested for, and just a quick glance of some highlighted stuff I did. So I did some research because I was
what's
curious.
the highlighted stuff for?
The blue ones are the police related incidents, assault on a police officer, and the other
Hmm.
ones were the weapon. They were basically
Okay,
weapons. So this is
okay,
public information. It's not nothing
yeah.
you can't go find. And I don't want to jump in this screen sharing just to prove that because people can go look it up if they want. But the point I was getting at is you can look through some of the names. I know that's maybe a stereotype, but you can't necessarily tell who what name is. I'm not going to go there, but I'm saying that some of them might be simply obvious, right? Other ones might be a little confusing because I even did go on to YouTube seeing if I can, or Facebook seeing if I could find some of these, and these profile pictures are a little different. But the
Hmm.
part that intrigued me is I came across the video. I think it was on Kevin Lewis's Twitter. I don't know Kevin Lewis. I just ABC7 Kevin. I don't know. But in one of these videos, maybe I can share it later, cut it in. I don't know. But one of these videos, they show a man being escorted off. he wasn't a white supremacist Proud Boy guy. He was being taken off by the police, dressed in black. He was appeared to me as either, maybe dark skinned Mexican or black. I don't know. I can't predict these days, and I can't say anything might be racially offensive. But he wasn't a white guy. I'll say that. And he was being escorted off by the police. And literally steps from him, another fight broke out with the police. Somebody with him. So
how do you know they were with him?
Because he was, I think he was. That's my assumption from the video, because he was coming to his rescue.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what it appeared to me. So
Yeah.
If you could be the judge of that. You want to see the video, whatever. I can even share it with you.
You do have some Hispanic guys that are in Proud Boys, right?
Yes. Well, I do understand that. I mean, but the point is right there off the bat, if they're white supremacists, I don't know. I don't know if you can be Spanish and white supremacist. Kind of odd. But I guess maybe. I mean, maybe if you see
the
yourself
whole MAGA thing is supported by white supremacy,
right? Of course.
And then so
because Trump's white. If he wasn't white, he couldn't be a white supremacist, or could he?
It could be.
Yeah, he could be a racist, right?
Could be.
Anyway, the thing I'm getting at is
really, Jim. You get. I was just going to keep going with you.
I know. I was trying to find more research on these stabbings. And when I looked at these police cases, like the cases I came up with where the police were involved, I didn't see any obvious videos of Proud Boys in the police. I didn't see it.
But is it possible? Like that was on the 12th. Never mind. Disregard.
Well, I mean,
no. What I was going with that was, is it possible something could have happened? It's just not readily available yet. But here we are on the 14th. Getting ready to go to the 15th. The report should have been done by now. At least
body cameras. Well, you can eventually get public information. Like, so eventually these reports have to be done, but they're probably taking their time with that, probably intentionally. But you can get this information. So if someone were to not run to social media, not post a video, make assumptions and trash people and do all the bad mouth, somebody would take the time and actually go investigate, like investigative media or investigative journalism, I think they call it. You probably find out that they're conflating a lot of things and blowing them out of proportion. And that could change the narrative. But if you don't want to change the narrative, you're not going to.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you off the little research I did here in the last half hour. Right. I found some videos that may say, well, maybe all these police incidents and stabbings aren't Proud Boys and MAGA people.
Right.
And they even showed a video of Antifa being confronted by Proud Boys. There's even an article in here in one of these things about like 500 or 200 Antifa people showing up and 50 Proud Boys confronting them. And we know who won that fight. But the point being is, if this was a MAGA rally that the Proud Boys showed up to, why is Antifa there? So just
to
like
protest
Proud Boys,
against them.
Right. So just like the Proud Boys went to Portland, I thought that was a stupid thing because they're looking for a fight.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think Antifa showing up, they're looking for a fight. So why would the media be all excited when there's a fight?
Sensationalism.
Right. Well, I get it. Clicks.
Clickbait.
But so you're talking about the people coming out later and talking about this, right? So I guess my question is, in this one article, it's called The Gaily Grind. I don't have to tell you what community it's supported by, but obviously it's going to be biased. I get it. But I just thought I found it interesting because they have a quote in here from Marianne Williamson, who made an unsuccessful bid for the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination. I don't know who she is. Do you?
Yeah, I've heard of her.
Okay, I don't know who she is. So her unsuccessful bid didn't make it very far.
Yeah, I've heard of her.
Okay, but she said, or she compared, it's not a quote there. The next one's a quote. She said, compared the attack to Hitler's stormtroopers. Tonight in DC, period, ... Tell me how this is not like Berlin in 1935. Really, somebody tell me, she tweeted.
Sometimes, Jim, I think you fail to realize, like, what did you say about it? She had a failed bid at the 2020 presidency, right?
Sure.
And then when people speak, they actually show you or tell you why they had a failed bid.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
I've known a lot about her in the past. I was like, probably about 90 seconds now. Yeah. I've heard of her. I've never heard of her before.
Me neither. But even I guess my point I'm trying to make is like I can even give her some credit in that statement because some of the things I saw definitely made me disgusted. And
Right,
if you're a Proud Boy or you're a MAGA support and you're condoning this, then you're not on my team either.
right.
But I want to go back through her tweets, which I don't have the time or interest in doing, and find out if she said the same things about Antifa.
Ah,
And that's what I want to do. And if
yeah.
she doesn't, then not only is she a failed Democratic candidate, she's just a failed human being because that's the biggest hypocrisy.
And we see that a lot.
Yes.
Yeah,
And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that
yeah,
this is what it comes to, but it's so hard. Like, I know we talk about the media and I just want to, I want you to give me your grand wisdom on it because I really don't know where to turn anymore. Even in conversations, like I get into conversations and people throw things out there like, well, it said it in the news. And here we are looking at, I looked at several articles and all of them were deceptive and misleading in some way or fashion. And I'm sure if I found the most far right or right wing or whatever you guys label them as perception of it, it might be the same thing. How do
yeah.
we really know the truth? I mean, how do we really know what happened at that MAGA rally? We all have to be investigators. I mean,
Yeah,
literally. The
yeah.
truth is out there. You can go find it.
Yeah, it's out there, and I guarantee you, someone has a very long video of the march, the protest, or whatever, and they're probably showing both sides of it. You know, the violence, the vandalism, and just the peaceful guys
Well,
out there just protesting.
let's take that couple, for instance, okay? Let's take that couple. First of all, in the title of it, it assumes that that's an innocent couple,
Right.
okay? Behavior aside, they make a bold assumption that some Proud Boys or MAGA supporters, but even, maybe they can make the assumption, based on what they're wearing. Proud Boys have had uniforms types. So I trust that assumption. But they're making an assumption that this is an innocent couple. We have no idea what happened before this.
Yeah, but that now you're kind of
Well, I said behavior
skating on.
aside. I said
Yeah, I
behavior
know.
aside.
Right, right, right. That's why I say, like, if you look at the other one, you remember, like, my boy Brian put on the Facebook post about Black Lives Matter beating that guy down, pulling him out the truck and everything,
Right.
and I was like, oh, it's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point, but you could find it on both sides.
Well,
Basically, that was my point, right? So, did that guy do something before to agitate him, provoke him? To me, I don't even want to. I don't care about that. What they
correct.
did to him was wrong.
Well, right. I was
You know
trying
what I
to
mean?
get to the basis before I got to that because I had
Yeah.
already said that their behavior, regardless of what happened before, their behavior
Right.
is
Right.
completely wrong. And that
Right.
stuff disgusts me. It makes my stomach turn to watch people do that. Especially when they're not fighting. These people don't want to fight you. Whether
Right.
they're good guys, bad guys in your eyes, no matter who they are, you're no better than them.
Yep.
And no matter what you're wearing, you're representing anybody. If you're a veteran and you got some veteran stuff on and you're out there doing that crap, you're no veteran to me. You're disgusting.
Yeah.
Veterans don't go out and kill the enemy because they want to kill people. They don't do that. That's not the purpose. So if you have that kind of mentality, you're wrong. You're just that wrong.
I would say I agree with you first and foremost, and because these people that we're talking about are your fellow brethren and sisters, meaning American citizens. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna go out there just because I disagree with Jim and his left wing loony ways beliefs. I'm not gonna go out there. I had to do that, sorry, but I'm not gonna go out there and commit some violent act against them and then try to
Right.
justify it later. I just can't. I
Yeah,
can't.
no. I mean, in fact, we do understand the heat of the passion. We actually have created laws for that. So we
Yeah,
understand human behavior. We
yeah,
get that. And that's why I said sometimes the stuff in the beginning is relevant because who knows what they did to set these people off. But at some point, you have to realize these people are not fighting back. So at this point, you're just looking to distribute punishment. And that punishment isn't even relevant to whatever's happening. Well, maybe it could be. I mean, let's say, for example, what if they stab somebody? You know what I mean?
right.
But their behavior didn't seem to me like they were the ones who would be shooting and stabbing somebody.
Mm,
It was probably just something running the mouth, if that.
right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I just can't side with these guys. And I agree with the perception. If these people are wearing MAGA hats and they're wearing Proud Boys, yeah, you MAGA people. Well, I don't know who the MAGA people are that can come out and say they're wrong. I'm one, that say I don't know. I don't have a MAGA hat, but I can say it's wrong. I'm not a Proud Boy, but if Proud Boys don't stand up and say that behavior is disgusting, they're no better than Antifa.
I agree, and that's all. That's the point I was trying to get out there, man. To me, when you try to justify it, saying, "Well, Black Lives Matter," they threw a brick through the window. Our guys, they just picked up a brick. You know,
Yeah,
I just, well, picked up a brick is not bad, but you get what I'm saying. They tore down a sign and burned it. It's still vandalism is vandalism, and your group is gonna get labeled as such. You
yeah,
know what I mean? You just become that angry mob, if you will. But when people don't stand up and say, "Hey," I don't. It's kind of like being a cop, man. We
right.
talked about this.
Hmm.
You see someone doing something violating another person's rights, and you just sit there. Nah, you let them embarrass the badge. Can't do it. Can't do it, man.
But let me
You
ask
know?
you this. Let me ask you this, because this is a lot of things. Like when people come out with apologies and things like that, one of the big criticisms on them is, oh, you only apologize because you got caught. Okay, so now let's say the Proud Boys leader comes out and says, this behavior is wrong. That's not our organization. These people, we know they are. We're going to remove them. Whatever. If he comes out from that, it's not. It doesn't. It's not going to seem genuine because these people just jump all over this without
Well,
even waiting a second.
I agree 100%. And the thing about that is, it would be less genuine if he was the one committing the act. Like
Sure.
if he or they would have come out now and say, "Hey, uh, I don't know who these guys were, but they don't represent what we stand for."
Right.
I think you would like to the far left. It's nothing he can say. But to those people who are the middle left or in the middle, just sitting back watching,
Right.
I think he can.
I think he has
I think it
to.
would mean a lot more to them than it would to people who are totally against you.
I think he has to. I think he has to for the
Yeah,
sake the media's. These left side or whatever you guys call them. Your peoples. They are trying to smear the Proud Boys to that white supremacist label and the Antifa level violent stuff. They're trying to do it, and if the Proud Boys aren't that, they have to keep defending themselves. They have
yeah.
to.
Name a group that didn't.
A group
You know
that
what I
did.
mean? A group that didn't have to defend themselves to the
Sure,
general public. Because the media is going to try to label you in such a way.
sure.
You know?
And anyone who's on the other side of you is going to use that
Yeah.
tactic against you. Yes, I agree.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely, man.
that's
But I think
unfortunate.
uh the whole point of that wanting to talk about that is, to me, the media is not talking about them like they do the other groups. You know what I mean? And I'm just wondering why.
But what media are you talking about? Like I said, I don't even.
Mainstream media, man.
In all fairness, I don't watch them anymore. I just don't watch them. The same people that didn't talk about Hunter Biden are now saying he's under investigation after the election. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think that was a joint thing.
Well, whatever it was, I don't know what it is.
uh,
But the point is, I don't even watch them anymore. It's a joke.
yeah,
It's just really become a joke. And why can't we just have people report the facts? If you want your opinions, put them in. Would you say the Onion or the Babylon Bee? I don't know if you
yeah.
know the Babylon Bee.
Or just call it what it is, you know,
Yeah, just
and an opinion piece.
exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly. Can you not just report facts in the
Right,
news? Like, can you not say, look, these people wearing some black and yellow who look like Proud Boys were at
right.
a rally with some people who have MAGA hats on? And in fact, like I'm even looking at this picture and I see Proud Boys. I only see two, maybe four MAGA hats.
That's it. That's
Like,
all you need. Once you get over three, that's it.
and we already
I
decided.
just,
We already decided it was the root reporter who was wearing one. So maybe she
yeah,
wore that so she can say there were MAGA people there.
yeah. You had to get more than three.
It's
You had to
crazy.
get
Come
more.
on. Come on, fix journalism or end it. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
that simple. And you know what's sad? These journalists, these mainstream people, they get paid a lot of money to do what YouTubers are doing better.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy. Well, I didn't want to get off on the
It's
media.
all about sensationalism, man.
Yeah, I don't want to get off on the media, but I wish we'd go back to one standard, call it as it is. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
that's it.
Well,
So,
it's just like how you said, hey, I don't stand with those guys, those MAGA guys. They don't represent what I stand for, whatever. You said it like twice in this episode alone, and I'm like, that's all I asked for. You know,
right, right. Well,
and
well, you can
then
ask me next episode to denounce it too again, if you want.
no, I
Pretend
won't
I
do
never
that.
did, right?
No,
You can do
no,
that. We can do that every
I would
episode.
never do that to you, Jim.
You can do that every episode. Just keep asking me to denounce it like I never did. That would be really interesting and
Oh
very
yeah, like you
journalistic.
talk about like Trump.
Yeah, like the white
Yeah,
supremacist thing. Do you
yeah.
denounce them?
Why can't you just say it?
Yeah, why? Why
Okay,
can't you say it?
I denounce him. I denounce him.
Forget about the 30, 40 other times you did it. Forget
Yeah,
about the videos that we have. Do it
yeah,
now. So it counts now.
yeah.
All
And
right,
then when
done
he
with that.
does it, it's like, he didn't mean it, right?
Right, right,
You
right.
know?
Well, you didn't denounce it to him.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You
And it,
can't make it up, man.
no, you can't. And there's video evidence of the same people. I don't know if it was that Acosta fool, but the same people asking the same question
Yeah,
and him denouncing it to the same person a year ago or something.
right.
Unheard of. So, anyways, we're going off on tangents now. Why don't we go ahead and pull the pin on this? And
All right.
do we have any final thoughts on it before you want to?
No.
No, I'll just say
What's that? What's that saying? It is what it is.
it
'Cause
is what it is. And if you're wrong, you're wrong.
that's it.
Period. It's just
That's
that
it, man.
simple. And if you don't know what you're talking about, go find the truth or shut the hell up. Or be like
Exactly.
us and pretend it's an opinion.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into our favorite
That's
segment
it. Favorite one, man. Favorite one.
called "Pull the Pin Already."
Yes.
And this is where we just bring up something that is just so near and dear to our hearts, or just so annoying to us that we just have to get them out there. So, if you'd like to go first, Mike, you can, or you can default.
To be honest with you, Jim, I'm gonna take the first one on this.
Woo.
Really. It's something that's annoying. It just annoys the heck out of me. And it is something that's near and dear to my heart, right? Christmas decorations. Did we ever talk about that?
I don't know, but sometimes I think about you think about talk about the same thing every time.
Well, I put I put my foot down. I said I'm not doing it anymore. I don't believe in it. I think it's the worst thing ever, when it comes to holidays and it's decorating your house and putting up a tree and all this little stupid, just ridiculous stuff, man. And I just want to pull the pin. I wish the entire world would just come together and say, no more Christmas decoration. It's a waste of time.
Right.
A waste of time.
But Mike, we do know how you really feel about
Hey, let
that.
me tell you something, man. I talk a lot of trash, but that woman in there, she's gonna get me to do
I thought for sure you were prompting me for that soundboard. Anyways, I would agree
it.
at some point because although there is some joy and festivity in the decorations,
No, it's not.
but well, let me tell you, there's people that take it to the extreme of everything, and
Yeah.
there's literally a house around my corner who prides themselves on 40 years of decorations, and it is
Wow.
literally an inflatable graveyard.
What?
You know those things they inflate and
Yeah.
hundreds of them, and in the morning they're all dead. And then they come up at night and light
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a graveyard full of inflatables, and it is not. I mean, to me, it looks like a junkyard. Like you have to sit there just to see what's there. It's not some. You could say a whole lot more with less. I mean, you really can. But
Yeah,
hey, they
yeah.
pride themselves, so good on you. Good on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm going to move into something a little more relevant to what we're talking about.
Make it relevant, Jim.
I'm going to make it relevant, and it's something I've never understood, but I've heard some of the most famous people do. Maybe somebody out there can explain it to me, but it's this thing they call a hunger strike. I'm not quite sure
Mm.
that has the same effect as you think it does. If you're going to starve yourself to prove a point, and I wait long enough, you won't have a point to prove.
Mm.
What is the sense of a hunger strike? Are you forcing me to feed you because I'm a nice guy? If I'm a nice guy, you wouldn't really have a reason to strike, or maybe
Hmm.
it just doesn't make sense to me. And we hear some of these famous, I don't know who these people are, but they go on hunger strikes. Uh,
Yeah.
try a water strike. It'll get to the point quicker. It'll really get to it quicker because you can go a lot longer on a hunger strike. You just do a water strike. If you really think that's making a point, stop drinking water and tell them, look, I'm not going to drink another drop of water until you do this, and see who wins.
Isn't that the same as a protest?
Well, it is a form of protest. My
Yeah.
point is, I don't understand that form. You want to
Mm.
stand out in the street and clog traffic and make noise and disrupt things. I get it. But going on a hunger strike doesn't disrupt my meal. Doesn't make me think, wow, maybe I should bring this guy an apple. Oh, he won't eat it anyway. What are you proving? I just don't get it. In fact, they call this fasting in some religions,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
actually encouraged.
yeah,
What kind of protest is that? So I
yeah.
don't get it. I don't get it. So maybe somebody can educate me on that and explain it, but I don't get it.
Maybe it's a form of protest that doesn't bring any. It doesn't interfere with anyone else's daily lives.
Okay.
It's just a
So
protest.
do it at home.
But they could be doing it at home. They just don't. They don't want to interfere with you getting to work and getting home, or you going about
Right.
your
Okay.
everyday
So
business.
have us sit on the park bench protest. Like I don't care. Just pick. You can pick any daily activity you want. If it's not interfering and not stopping,
Okay,
you ain't
I'm done.
protesting.
I'm done.
You're not protesting if you're just starving yourself. What is it?
Okay, I tried, man. I gave you the
Yeah, I
best I
know. Well,
could.
hopefully somebody out there can tell me because I don't get them.
Yeah.
I don't. I see the relevance of standing in front of a tank, even if you become a potato or a potato pancake. I get it.
Hmm.
But starving yourself on no, whatever. I'm pulling the pin on
Yeah.
that. And we are going to pull the pin on this show. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going on about this. So thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for putting up with us. We hope you come back next time. And until then, Godspeed.
And pull the pin.
Thanks for joining us here. Pull the pin already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. But most importantly, leave a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. Hope to see you here next time on Pull the Pin Already.